The sun is out, and I'm sitting up in bed, my back against the wall. Rachel's soft, thin frame rests against my body. I run a hand through her hair, and she looks out the window, her eyes taut and focused on the swell of the day. She's like a bird perched on a tree, squinting hard at its surroundings. I've noticed she always looks so serious when she's sleeping, as if she's wrestling with some wounded history that she won't let go. But when she's awake, she likes to call me the serious one. She says, "You're like a robot. You just get up and do your thing, and when you come back home, you don't show any emotion." She wants me to relax, but I can't. I'm thinking about band practice and finding another show. I'm thinking about keeping up at work. I'm trying to keep my parents at bay. Their new favorite topic of conversation has become graduate school. They are looking, I'm convinced, for any way to pull me up from these planted roots, this new life by the park, under the threaded wires of guitar strings and the hazy clouds of keyboard melodies. Rachel asks, "Can we just have a day to ourselves?" Unbelievably, I say yes. After all, it is a Saturday. We walk up Mission Street, past stores I will never shop at. The vendors sell shoes, pastries, and Latino pop records. Mothers and fathers guide their children down the sidewalk, off to shop for dinner and run errands. They walk around us and sometimes through us, as if not noticing us or the other intruders skipping around the corner of their neighborhood. San Francisco feels only slightly unhinged from its essential whiteness on Mission Street, one of the few places, kind of like Chinatown, able to cling to some cultural birthright. Yet even the Mission is losing its grasp. People like us come down here for good Mexican food and cheap drinks, and the Mission is happy to sell it to us. As a result, a hole-in-the-wall burrito stop becomes a starred listing in Zagat's. A conspicuous dive is christened the headquarters for a new crop of hipsters. Our adoration is like an infection, eating passionately around the edges before burrowing into the core. We go straight for your genes. We replicate authenticity in our own image. Jesus with a sombrero and 2 twice-cooked tacos from La Taqueria, a 6-pack of PBR in his rucksack. Valencia Street feels like it is already seceded, its urban chic clothing holes and modern eateries attracting the brood of the upper middle class from all parts of the city. "How about here?" Rachel asks. She's pointing to a black hole on the sidewalk, a divey little watering place with its gate open wide here on the brink of a warm, sunny day. It is simply called Bar, and we go in. "How are things with Chris?" she asks. "They're okay, I suppose. He makes it so difficult to write songs. He adores perfection. It's the beginning of our therapy session. She has her gin and tonic, and I have my beer. I unfold insecurities, offer them up to her one by one. I tell her that I'm afraid of my place in the band, afraid that the weight of my opinion is diminishing. I'm sick for Chris, and I am possessed by Chris, I say. I want him to do what he wants to do, but only if he does it my way. I wish we were harder, louder, and faster. I wish we would practice more. I want to play better venues. I want some recognition." She's patient with me. She's heard these stories before. She calms me, her hand light and reassuring on my knee, and says, "You guys are good, and you're only getting better. Remember, they're your friends." Then I confess that I love Chris. I adore the whole lot of them. I'd be stranded without them. As her hand rubs my knee, comforts me, her eyes seem to look deep into me and say, "Well, what about me?" I straighten up and finish my beer. I order another and turn to her. "Well, what do you plan to do with your life?" "I don't know," she says. "You know, you've got to figure out something. You have to want something." "Why are you so concerned with my success?" she asks. "I just want you to be something, to be as possessed with something as I am." She frowns at me. I am possessed. I just like to enjoy life. She does love to salsa dance. It moves her greatly. Yet I've never thought of it as being as important as my band. This, I acknowledge internally, is a personal error, but I can't seem to overcome it. "My pictures," she continues. "I love to take photographs." "Yes, your pictures," I say. "You could do something with those. You could turn them into something." "What do you mean, turn them into something?" She's kind of upset with me. I've pushed her too far. She doesn't like this sort of interrogation. Her eyes narrow and her cheeks sink in like she's gnawing her teeth. "You're obsessed with weakness," she says. "Anything you can find, you lash onto it and kill it." She stands up, exposing her thin frame, long, beautiful hair, and exceptional curves, such an improbable bust. And I think this woman is a goddess. I love her, and how can I be so cruel? "I'm going to the bathroom," she snaps. She's right. I am obsessed with weakness. I do find things. I latch onto them and I kill them. For instance, she has this bad circulation and it drives me crazy. She's so sensitive to weather and gets cold so easily. "We're in San Francisco," I want to yell at her. You think it's cold here? Try the East Coast. And sometimes she becomes faint without warning, turning sickly in the most public of moments. We'll be out eating dinner and she'll feel lightheaded. I'll have to cart her off to safety so she can recuperate and gather strength. I feel like Ethan Frome. I want to tell her to stop taking so many drugs on the weekends with her friends, but then she'll just tell me to stop drinking and my argument will lose its footing. I sense that she knows why I dote on her soft spots. She knows that I am the one who's insecure. To see her stutter ever so briefly, to not know her future planned out, the succinct and spiraling architecture of a yellow brick road, it awakens a self-hating beast inside of me. I am in bar in the Mission with not much money to my name and a band that no one cares about. I'm not the Princeton graduate they put in the alumni magazine. I'm not the guy who becomes a pioneering marine biologist, learns how to extract oil from jellyfish to solve the energy crisis. No, that is certainly not me. I'm not the son of these class-jumping black parents bounding through college and an Ivy League law school, making my way towards a massive law firm, then to city politics, the state and beyond. No, that's not me. I'm not much of anything. This is me, and I am nowhere. Once Rachel asked me why I loved her, and I said, because she somehow found it possible to love me. She rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, thanks. I'm glad that my best quality is being capable of loving you." I hadn't meant it so selfishly. I meant to say that I was surprised that she could love me. I'm such a bastard, I know. I thanked her for it. I told her that she was warm, that she was beautiful, and that she was patient. I didn't know what else to say. I'm an idiot like that with women. I'm better suited to a room full of men holding their guitars, their moleskins, and paintbrushes. She returns from the bathroom, not sulking as much anymore. She must have looked at herself in the mirror and reaffirmed her superiority. She swills her drink. I remain silent for a moment, unable to get over myself. Then I give in and kiss her on the cheek. "You're wonderful," I say. She grunts, unimpressed. "You're wonderful," I say, and kiss her again. She smiles, and I know that I'm back in. Thanks.